Hi friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Juan. I'm a yarn addict, hence the name Juan the Yarn Addict, and I want to thank each and every one of you guys for stopping by to check out my video today. This is a yarn and crochet channel where we talk about all things yarn and all things crochet, so if that is of interest to you, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and then of course turn those notifications on to stay updated with everything regarding me and my channel. Today, my friends, I offer you Friendship Beanie number 4. So we are on the 4th installment for the month of February. We are creating Friendship Beanies, going through friends of mine on YouTube, on this side of the screen. People are giving me their favorite stitches. I'm putting them on the wheel. We are spinning, and we are creating a beanie. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, friends, so let's go ahead and get this started. So on the wheel, I have a bunch of people on this wheel and their favorite stitches, okay? All friends of mine, friends of yours, friends of everyone on the YouTube streets. And so I asked them for their favorite stitches. They gave them to me. And so as the month of February winds down, you'll start to see these arrows here. So far we have 4 arrows, which is fine. If we land on the arrows, we'll choose one or the other of the stitches, and we'll move forward and continue on, okay? So around the perimeter of the wheel here, we have dots. The dots will indicate how many different stitches we will be spinning for, okay? So we're going to do that one first, and then we will go and take next steps after that, okay? So let me prop this on my leg here. Okay, so all across the wheel here, we have 5 dots and 4 dots. If we land on 5 dots, we will have 5 stitches on our next beanie. If we land on 4 dots, we will have 4 stitches on our next beanie. Pretty simple. So let's figure that out. All right, here we go. Okay, so Friendship Beanie number 4 will have 4 stitches. So we will need to spin this wheel until we have 4 stitches for our beanie. Okay, let me just grab a piece of paper. I'll be right back. Okay, friends, so now that we know that we're spinning for 4 stitches, let's talk about what stitches are on the wheel. Okay, so let's start right here with Lucas. So Lucas's favorite stitch is the wide half double. Next we have Lynanne. Lynanne's favorite stitch is the lemon peel stitch. Next we have Sharon. Sharon's favorite stitch is the double cross stitch. And then we have Diana with her favorite stitch being the treble cross stitch. And then we have Crystal with the harlequin stitch. Next we have Nancy with the double herringbone. And then we have Mishy with the half double cross stitch. And then we have Art Junkie, and her favorite stitch is the half double crochet. And then we have Jen with the half double cluster stitch. Last but not least, we have Ola Jo with the alpine stitch. So there is that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and spin for those 4 stitches. Just give me 1 second. Okay, friends, let's go ahead and spin for the first stitch. Alright, we have the double herringbone from Nancy. Okay. Alright, let's go ahead and spin for the second stitch, my friends. Next we have Jen with the half double cluster. Okay, half double cluster, Jen. Okay, let's go ahead and spin for stitch number 3. So we have Sharon with the double cross stitch. Okay, Sharon. And that's the double cross. Okay. And last but not least, the 4th stitch, friends. Fingers are crossed for a really good one. Let's go. All right, it landed on Nancy again. We already have her, so let's spin again. Okay, so we're at an arrow. We already have Nancy, so the only logical choice would be Mishy. So Mishy's is the half double cross. Okay, half double cross, Mishy. Okay, so here are our stitches, just to recap. So we have the double herringbone stitch, we have the half double cluster, we have the double cross, and then we have the half double cross. I can make that look really good. I'm excited. Okay, let's go and jump over to the tutorial table and get this started. I'll see you on the other side, friends. Okay, friends, so for this tutorial, we are going to be using Red Heart Super Saver Ombre in the colorway Deep Teal. Okay, and I'm going to be using a 6mm crochet hook, which is what you see before you here, otherwise known as a US letter J. Okay, so because of the stitches that we wound up with, we have the half double cluster, the half double cross, the double cross, and the double herringbone. We're going to go ahead and do a half double crochet crown. So to start, what we're going to do is we're going to create a slip knot on our hook. However you do this is absolutely fine. From here we're going to chain 4, so 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we're going to go into the very first chain, drop a loop, and slip to close, and then pull on your tension on the hook and your working yarn. From here we're going to chain 1, and then in your circle you're going to do 12 half double crochets. Yarn over, go into the circle, drop a loop, yarn over, and go through all 3. Okay, let's do it again, just like that. Yarn over, go in the circle, drop a loop, yarn over, go through all 3. So for the very first round, my friends, we're going to need to have 12 half double crochets. So continue doing that, and I will see you at the end of round 1. Okay, so here we are at the end of round 1. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and insert our crochet hook into the very first stitch of the round, which is right there. We're going to drop a loop and slip to close and chain 1. So that's the end of round 1. For round 2, we're going to need to do 24 half double crochets. And we're going to start by working into the stitch we just came out of with 2 half double crochets. So yarn over, go into the stitch, drop a loop, go through all 3. And then do the same thing. And that, my friends, we call twins in a stitch. So every stitch of the round here will get twins in a stitch. 1 and 2, twins in a stitch. 1 and 2, twins in a stitch. Okay, so continue doing that, my friends, and I will see you at the end of round 2, 24 half double crochets. Okay, friends, so here we are at the end of round 2, total of 24 stitches for the round. What we need to do, like before, we're going to go into the very first stitch of the round. We're going to drop a loop and slip to close, and that's the end of round 2. So for round 3, we need a total of 36 stitches for the round. We're going to go ahead and chain 1, and what we're going to do is we're going to go back into the stitch that we just came out of with a half double crochet. Next door here, we're going to do twins in a stitch. 2 half double crochets in the next stitch. Next door, a standalone, just 1 half double crochet, and then in the next stitch, twins in a stitch. 1 and 2. Okay, so that is the repeat for this round. A standalone and twins in a stitch, just like that. Okay, so continue doing that all the way around for a total of 36 stitches, and I will see you here at the last stitch. Okay friends, so here I am at the end of round 3. I have 36 total stitches, and to close off the round we're going to go into the very first stitch of the round, drop a loop and slip to close. We're going to chain 1. So for round 4 we need 48 total stitches. Okay, so to do that we're going to do a half double crochet in the stitch we just came out of, and what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 standalones and then twins in a stitch for this round. So we have 1, so let's do the next one. Twins in a stitch is next, so standalone, standalone, twins in a stitch. Standalone, standalone, twins in a stitch. Standalone, standalone, twins in a stitch. Just like that. Okay? So standalone, standalone, twins in a stitch. Standalone, standalone, twins in a stitch. So you just keep doing that all the way around. You'll have 48 total stitches, and I'll see you at the end of round 4. Okay friends, so I just ended round 4. 48 total stitches. Looking good so far. So what we need to do is we need to go into the very first stitch of the round, which is right here. Insert our hook, drop a loop, slip to close, chain 1. And so for round 5 we need 60 total stitches. Okay? So to do that, it's going to be standalone, 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 twins in a stitch. So 3 standalones, 1, 2, and 3, and then twins in a stitch. Okay, standalone, 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 twins in a stitch. Let's do it again. So standalone, 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 and then twins in a stitch. Okay, do it one more time. Standalone, 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 twins in a stitch. Piece of cake. Okay, so continue doing that, my friends, and I will see you at the end of this round for a total of 60 stitches, all half double crochet. Okay friends, so here I am at the end of round 5. We have a total of 60 stitches, all half double crochets. Okay, so to close off the round, what we need to do is we need to insert into the first stitch, drop a loop, slip to close, chain 1. Okay, so what we need to do now is we have one more round of increases, but we're not going to the traditional 72. So what we're going to do is we're going to think of this as a pizza pie. Okay, so we're going to go to 64 stitches. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to half double crochet 14, and then on the 15th one, twins in a stitch. 14, and then on the 15th one, twins in a stitch. So you're going to look at this, well, maybe not necessarily as a pizza, but maybe a clock, right? So 12, 3, 6, and 9. Okay, those points, 12, 3, 6, and 9 will all get twins in a stitch. Okay, so 14 standalones and then twins in a stitch. 14 standalones, twins in a stitch. Okay, so let's do it. Let's go into the stitch we're just coming out of. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then now twins in a stitch, okay? And you're going to do that 3 more times. So 14 standalones, twins in a stitch. 14 standalones, twins in a stitch, 14 standalones and twins in your very last stitch. Okay, so continue doing that, and I will see you at the end of the round. Okay friends, so here we are at the end of round 6, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The magic number here is 64. Okay, so we are finished the crown. All half double crochets. It looks great, we love it, it's all the things. Okay, so now what we need to do is go into the very first stitch of round 6, drop a loop and slip to close, chain 1. Okay, so for the next round here, for round 7, we're going to go ahead and do the half double cluster stitch. Okay, so to do that, we're going to go into the very first stitch that we came out of with a yarn over, go in, drop a loop, oops, let me get that loop, okay, drop a loop, yarn over, go into the next stitch, drop a loop, yarn over, and go through all 5 loops, just like that. So yarn over, now go into the stitch we just came out of, right here, drop a loop, yarn over, go into the next stitch, drop a loop, you'll have 5 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and go through all 5 loops. Don't go to the next stitch, you're going to go right into the stitch you just came out of. Yarn over, go into that stitch, drop a loop, yarn over, now go into the next stitch, drop a loop. 5 loops on your hook, yarn over, and go through all 5. Let's do that again, but a little slower. So we're going to yarn over, go into the stitch we just came out of, drop a loop, yarn over, go into the next stitch, drop a loop, yarn over, and go through all 5. And that's what it's looking like. Okay, so you're going to want to do that for every stitch of this round, just like this. Okay, so continue doing that, and I will see you at the end of the round. Okay friends, so here I am at the end of round 7, and as of right now I have 62 stitches, and it looks like I'm not going to have enough, but don't worry, there's a plan. So, because it's the stitch that it is, we need to work into the stitch that we're coming out of. So far we have 62. We're going to yarn over, go into the stitch that I'm just coming out of, right here. We're going to drop a loop. Then we're going to yarn over, go into the next stitch, drop a loop. There's 5 loops on the hook. Let's yarn over and go through all 5, okay? So now what we need to do to get the very last stitch of the round, we need to yarn over, go into the stitch that we just came out of, drop a loop, yarn over, and go into the very first stitch of the round, which is where my thumb is, right here. We're going to go into that stitch, drop a loop. There's 5 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over and go through all 5 loops, just like that. So it's kind of looking like it's overlapping, but you want it to do that because you don't want any gaps. So as you can see, this is the very first stitch of the round. So to close off, we're going to go into that stitch, drop a loop, and slip to close, chain 1. Okay, so just go ahead and squeeze everything in, and it's okay if it buckles like that. It's going to start taking shape soon. Okay, all right, so the next thing that we're going to do now is we are going to jump over to the half double cross stitch. Okay, so to do that, what we need to do is we're going to chain 1 more, and then instead of working into the stitch that we're just coming out of, we're going to skip a stitch. So we're going to jump over to this second stitch right here. So we're going to yarn over, go into that stitch, drop a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and go through all 3, just like that, very carefully. Okay, next what we're going to do is we're going to go back into that very first stitch. We're going to go backtrack, by going into that one right there. So we're going to yarn over, go into that first stitch. That's the first stitch. We're going to go into that stitch right there. We're going to draw up a loop. It's a little tricky at first. There we go. We're going to yarn over and go through all 3 of those loops. Okay? So from here, we're going to skip this stitch here and go to this stitch here. So unlike this, we're not working into the stitch we just came out of. So that's done. So now we're going to focus on these 2 stitches. So from here, we're going to go to here. Okay, so we're going to skip this stitch and come here. So yarn over, go into that stitch right there, draw up a loop, yarn over, and go through all 3. Then we're going to backtrack and go into the skipped stitch, which is right here. We're going to yarn over and go into that stitch just like that. So let me just make sure that's done correctly. Yarn over, go into that stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, and go through all 3. Okay, so skip the stitch and go to the next one here. Yarn over, go into the stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through all 3, then yarn over, backtrack, go into the skipped stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, and go through all 3. Just like that. Okay? So continue doing that, friends. You want a total of 64 stitches, and I'll see you at the end of the round. Okay, friends, so now I just completed round 8. You should have 32 of these little crosses. Okay? So now, to close off the round, what we need to do is we need to go into the very first stitch of the round, which is this one right here. Drop a loop, slip to close, chain 1. So this next stitch is going to be the double cross, okay? And with the double cross, we're not going to be working into any stitches. We're going to work into these open spaces on either side of the crosses, okay? So double crochet, you're literally going to jump right to this side of the cross. Go into the space, do a double crochet, yarn over, and go back to this spot here and do the double crochet. Just make sure you give yourself enough space to get around everything. So from here, we're going to jump to right here, to this side of the cross, and then we're going to backtrack and go to this side. So double crochet, then come back, double crochet, jump over here, double crochet. Let's try that again. There we go. Then come back here, double crochet. Okay. So I had to get some more yarn here. Just continue doing double crochets on either side of the previous cross for the double crochet cross. So by doing that, we're minimizing the potential for a huge gap. If we were to just work into the stitch, of course it would bring it down a little further, but the holes would be bigger. So we're just going to minimize the holes if at all possible. Okay? So continue doing that, my friends, working double crochets on either side of the crosses. So you're going to go to the far side first, double crochet, and then yarn over and go backtrack and do a double crochet that way. There we go. Okay, just like that. So continue that, and I will see you at the end of the round. Okay, friends, so I am approaching the end of round 9. So I just have this one final square to do. And while I work, I was thinking about, the pattern, the repeats and things. So what I think we're going to do is, we did a round here. Round 8 was the half double cross, and then we did the double cross. And I think we're going to go back and do the half double cross. So it'll be a row of half, a row of double, and a row of half. Okay? So we're going to end round 9 by going into the first stitch, as per usual. We're going to chain 1 and then repeat the same thing we just did, but do half double crochets. Yarn over, go into this side of the cross, yarn over and go through 3, yarn over, go back here, draw up a loop, yarn over and go through 3. We're just going to repeat that all the way down and around this round here for round 10. Just make sure you don't pull too tight so it can make its way around the stitch, okay? You don't want it too loose either. So just pay attention to the tension. Just like that. Okay. This is what it's looking like so far. All right, so continue doing that, my friends, and I will see you at the end of this round, which is round 10. Yep. Okay, so I'm ending round 10. So to end round 10, we need to go into the first stitch of the round, drop a loop and slip to close, chain 1. So we're just going to repeat this pattern here. So we're going to do half double cluster, and then half double cross, half double cross, and now we're going to do the cluster. So it's going to be a situation like that, okay? So what we're going to do is yarn over, go into the stitch we just came out of, draw up a loop, go into the next stitch, which I believe is, let's see, I don't want to make a mistake here. Go into this stitch right here, draw up a loop, 5 loops on the hook, yarn over, go through all 5, and then yarn over, go into the stitch you just came out of, draw up a loop very carefully, yarn over, and go into the stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through 5. So we're going to do the half double cluster going to every one of those stitches. See, I have a big one and a small one. They all count. Okay? So yarn over, go into the stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, go into the next one, draw up a loop, and just continue on this pattern here. Okay? So continue doing that. You're going to need a total of 64 for the round. Okay? I'll see you at the end. Okay, friends, so I am ending round 11 here. I just counted and verified that I have 64 of these half double clusters. Okay? So what we need to do is, let's see, go into the very first stitch of the round, draw up a loop and slip to close, chain 1. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to incorporate the one stitch we haven't done yet, which is, let's see, the double herringbone stitch. Okay, so to do the double herringbone stitch, we're going to go into the stitch we just came out of. We're going to yarn over. We're going to go into the stitch, draw up a loop. We're going to go through just one of those loops. We're going to go through just one loop. Well, yarn over and then go through one loop. Yarn over and then go through 2. So let's try that again. Yarn over, go into the stitch, draw up a loop, and go through 1. Yarn over, go through 1. Yarn over, go through 2. Let's do that again. Yarn over, go into the stitch, draw up a loop. Go through 1. Yarn over, go through 1. Yarn over, go through 2. Okay, yarn over, go into the stitch, go through 1, yarn over, go through 1, yarn over, go through 2, and that's what they should look like. Okay, so continue doing this for the entire round, and I will see you at the end of the round. So 64 double herringbone stitches. Okay. Okay friends, so here I am at the end of round 12, which was the double herringbone. I verified that I had 64 stitches for this round. And so traditionally the herringbone stitch works when you flip your work each round. So we are going to do that. So we're going to close off the round by going into the very first stitch of the round. Draw up a loop and slip to close. We're going to chain 1 and turn our work just like this. And so what we're going to do is we're going to work in the stitch we're just coming out of. Do a herringbone, double herringbone. The first stitch is always a little tough because we're going from the outside to the inside. There we go. Just like that. And then you're going to continue on business as usual. Okay. So 64 herringbones working in the opposite direction. Continue doing this, and I shall see you at the end of the round here. 64 double herringbone stitches. Okay. All right. Okay, so I am here at the end of round 13, where we're working from the inside here. What we want to do is go into the very first stitch of the round, draw up a loop and slip to close, chain 1 and turn our work, and we're going to do one final round of the herringbone stitch, working on it from the outside. So it'll be herringbone, 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 just a section of herringbones. Okay, so we're going to start by working into the stitch we just came out of, which is right here, right there. You're going to yarn over, go into that stitch, draw up a loop, go into that very first loop. As I mentioned before, it's a little difficult, that first one. There we go. Go through 1, go through 2. And then you're just going to continue business as usual. There we go. Okay, so continue doing this. This is the last round of herringbone stitches. 64 total herringbones, and I'll see you at the end of the round. Okay friends, so the last round of the herringbone was round 14. Let me just make sure. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yep. So this is round 14. We're finishing up here. So we're going to go into the first stitch of the round. Draw up a loop, slip to close, chain 1. So this band here is going to be the only band of the herringbone stitch that this project will have. So now what we're going to do is we're going to copy this right here. So based on the pattern, we're going to jump over here and do the half double cluster stitch. Then we're going to do the 3 rounds of the crosses, the half, the double, the half, and then the cluster. Okay? So round 15 is going to be the half double cluster stitch. We're going to start by going into the stitch we just came out of, yarn over, go in, draw up a loop, yarn over, go into the next stitch, draw up a loop, 5 on the hook, yarn over, go through all 5. Yarn over, go into the stitch that we're still working, drop a loop, yarn over, go into the next stitch, drop a loop, 5 on the hook, yarn over, go through all 5. Yarn over, go into the stitch we're still at, drop a loop, yarn over, go into the next stitch, drop a loop, yarn over, go through all 5. Okay, so continue doing that. You're going to need 64 stitches for the round here. Okay friends, so I just finished round 15, the last part of that stitch going into the very first stitch of the round. So what we need to do now is go into the very first stitch of the round, drop a loop, slip to close, chain 1. Okay, so that's what we're looking like so far. Loving the ombre. Okay, so for the next round, let's take a look. So it's going to be the half double cross stitch. So we're going to skip the stitch that we just came out of and go to the next one. Yarn over, go into that stitch, drop a loop, yarn over and go through all 3. Yarn over and then backtrack into the skipped stitch, drop a loop, 3. On the hook, yarn over and go through all the stitches there, all the loops, sorry. So from here, we're going to skip and go to the next one, yarn over, go into the stitch and drop a loop, yarn over and go through all 3, yarn over, go into the stitch that we skipped, drop a loop, yarn over, go through all 3. So that's the half double cross. And you want to continue doing this all the way around, and I will meet you here. So let's go here, just like that. Skip, go to the next one. Okay, continue doing that, and I'll see you at the end of the round. Okay friends, I am at the end of round 16. We're going to go into the very first stitch, drop a loop and slip to close. And so for round 17, as the pattern shows us, we're going to do the half double cross. So we're going to chain 1, and we're going to look at our first cross here. And so we're going to yarn over, go to this side of the cross, draw a loop, yarn over, go through 2, just do a double crochet, and then come back to this side of the cross and do a double crochet, just like that. You want to continue doing that for every cross of the round here. So there's the cross, go to this side, double crochet, yarn over and to go this side, just like that. Okay. So continue doing that, and I will see you at the end of the round right here. Okay friends, I am at the end of round 17. And so we're going to go into the very first stitch of the round, drop a loop, and slip to close, chain 1. Let me change hooks here. There we go. Okay, I was experimenting. Okay, so let's see here. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, so for round 18, we're going to do half double crosses. So yarn over, go to this side of the cross, draw a loop, yarn over, go through 3, yarn over, go to the other side of the cross, draw up a loop, yarn over and go through 3, just like we did down here. Okay, for round 16. So yarn over, go to this side of the cross, draw up a loop, and then yarn over, go through 3, yarn over, go to this side of the cross, oops, draw up a loop, yarn over and go through 3. Okay, so continue doing that, and I will see you at the end of the round right here. Okay friends, so I am ending round 18 here, which was a round of half double crosses. Okay, and based on the pattern here, we're going to do another round of the half double cluster. Okay, so we're going to close off this round for round 18 by going into the first stitch, drawing up a loop and slipping to close. We're going to chain 1. Okay, like before, all of the stitches that you see across here count. Some of them are bigger than others, and that's okay. It's part of the cross stitch. So at any rate, we're going to go into the stitch that we just came out of, which is this one right in between my thumbs. So we're going to yarn over and go into that stitch, draw up a loop, yarn over, go into the next stitch, draw up a loop. There's 5. Yarn over, go through all 5. Yarn over, go into the stitch that we are still in right here, draw up a loop, yarn over and go into the next stitch, draw up a loop. 5. We're going to continue doing that for the entire round. Just make sure that you don't skip. When you start your stitch, you're going to continue working in the stitch that you just came out of. So, just like that. Okay, so continue doing this, and I will see you at the end of the round. Okay friends, so I have just ended round 19 here, and what we're going to do is go into the first stitch, draw up a loop, slip to close. This is what it should look like. So nice. Okay, so for round 20 it's going to be the brim. So round 20 and 21 you should only need 2 more rows, but what I would do is do round 20, try on your hat. If it fits, then you're done. But if you feel like you need another row, by all means go for it. So these last 2 rows are going to be, or I'm sorry, the last 2 rounds will be the half double crochet, since it seems like that was the common theme here. So we're going to chain 1 and go into the stitch we just came out of, which is right here, and we're going to do a half double crochet in this stitch and in every stitch of the round. All half double crochets, just like this. Okay, so continue doing this, my friends, and I will see you at the end of the round. Okay friends, so I just ended round 20 here, all half double crochets, and I went ahead and tried it on, and it actually fits perfectly for me. So I'm going to end that here instead of doing that extra round of half double crochets, but if you need it, by all means go ahead. So to close off this, what we need to do is insert our hook into the first stitch, draw up a loop and slip to close, just like that. We're going to go ahead and chain 2, and then we're going to grab the scissors and cut a tail. We're going to pull the hook away from our work, and then we're going to pinch and pull down to create that little knot. That will ensure that our project will stay in place. And then now what we need to do is sew in our end. I'm going to place you on a brief pause and get my darning needle. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have my darning needle here, and what we need to do is wrap the yarn over the eye of the needle, pinch and feed through. And then what we need to do is just feed it through. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go this way. Yeah, we're going to do that. Bring it down, just like that. Ideally you want to go on the inside, but you can't even see anything here. It looks perfect as it is. Yeah, look how nice that looks. You can't even tell I did anything there. Okay, so that wraps this up. Now I'm going to take us back to the other room, and I'm going to give you some final thoughts. I'll be right back. Okay friends, so we are back. Friendship Beanie 4.0 is done. I'm so proud of it. Look at this. Look how nice that looks. So under those cameras you can't really see it, but look at this. Doesn't that look good? That looks so good. I love it. Let me try it on. Are you kidding me? I love it. Friendship Beanie 4.0 is a huge success. I love it. Yeah, it looks so good. Okay, so anyway, I really enjoyed making this. If you enjoyed following me, watching the tutorial, feel free to go ahead and give me a like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit those notifications to stay updated with everything regarding me and my channel. My friends, it's been an honor and a privilege doing this with you. So until the next one, guys, take care. Thanks. Bye-bye.